guys, my name is Alice. I go by Hello Alice here on YouTube and I make art videos. So today I'm here to talk to you about something I've been asked about so much, and that is style. So people are really curious how I developed my style or how I think they should develop their style, tips on starting to form your style or find your style. And so I'm hoping I can make this video to help some of you if you're still trying to find your style, if you're trying to figure out how to develop it. I know it can be really tricky and it can feel really overwhelming, especially when you're not drawing at the quality that you want to, but hopefully this video will help you at least get started. So these are just my opinions on style. It's just the things that have helped me and the things that I try to live by. Feel free to take them, leave them, disregard the stuff that you don't think is helpful. This is just what I like, so hopefully it will help some of you guys out there. I have mentioned this before, but before I go into my tips, I do want to say that the biggest thing that I think that you all can do is really try not to stress about your style as much, especially if you're a younger artist. I think a lot of younger artists get really caught up in this idea of like, what is my style and what does my style have to be, and I need to have this perfect style and I need to be, you know, this artist or this artist. And the thing is that you're still really young, and as you learn more about anatomy, color theory, art, your style is going to change anyway. So if you're really young, yes, work on developing your style. You can always work on developing your style, but don't worry too much about getting it perfect, because the older that you get, the more it's going to change and evolve anyway. Another thing that I really strongly believe in is something that I've also addressed in a previous video, and that is to learn the basics. Basically, I don't think that style should be an excuse for not knowing what you're doing. So for an example is, say you don't know how to draw hands. So in all of your pictures, you draw your characters with mitten hands because you don't know how to draw hands. Now, mitten hands can be a stylistic tool that people use to great effect, and they can use that purposefully, like for example in a comic where it makes more sense to do mitten hands, or where you can convey emotion differently, or it's just a cute style that you like. But if you're doing mitten hands because you can't actually draw a five-fingered hand, then you haven't made that decision intentionally. You've made that decision because you don't know how to do it another way. And thus, it's not really your style, it's just something that you're doing because you don't know the other way to do it. Now, I know this is probably going to offend a lot of you. I mentioned it in a previous video and a lot of people did get upset, and you can choose to disregard this if you want. This is just what I think. But I know that when I studied anatomy, and let me preface this by saying, I am not perfect at anatomy at all. I still have so much to learn. I still don't really understand how shoulders work. Like, what? If anyone knows how some great resources on learning how to draw shoulders, please tell me, because I'm useless. And I do think that you can learn the basics while you're also drawing in a stylized way. Like, I don't expect you to be able to draw photorealistically before you even touch anime. You can draw both. It's okay. Just don't ever stop learning the basics. And by that I mean, you know, anatomy, like gesture drawing and figure drawing, and art and color theory and perspective and form and all of the like basics of art. Make sure you learn those and continue to learn them while you work on your style, because it's only going to make your style better when you're doing something intentionally. Now, one example that I like to use about this is Picasso. Picasso do some really weird stuff, but he's actually an amazing technical artist. If you look at some of his early work, you can see how much he knew about anatomy and about classical proportions and the basics of artwork. And thus, when he started stylizing his artwork, it was intentional. He didn't have one eye here and one eye here because he didn't know how to draw eyes that were on the same level. He had them there because he was trying to make a statement and make a point, and he was trying to convey something through his style. It wasn't something that he did because he didn't know any better. It was something that he did because he made that choice. In fact, it was Picasso who said, "Learn the rules like a pro so that you can break them like an artist." That's a quote that has really stuck with me, and it's one that I try to live by. You know, working on your basics as well as working on your style. So moving on from there down to the nitty-gritty of actually establishing your style and figuring out how you're going to draw and do this drawing thing. For those of you that are just starting to develop a style, it's really important to know where you want to go. I think it's important to have an idea in your head of what you want your style to be. And that can be really hard because sometimes people are like, I don't know what I want my style to be. But I think a great resource for this is Pinterest. So something that I like to do is create an entire board for your art style or art inspiration, whatever you want to call it, and basically go through and pin a bunch of artwork from your favorite artists, pin styles that you like, pin stuff from people that you admire, anything that really conveys what you want to convey. So spend a couple hours pinning all the stuff, then go through the board and start looking for commonalities, things that they all share or that most of them share. So anything from colors. Do you have a lot of bright colors? Do you have a lot of neutral colors? Is it just that you like unique color combinations? What about shading? Do you like really deep chiaroscuro shading, or do you like really minimal light shading? Do you like artwork that has a sketchy, unfinished quality, or do you like things to look really, really polished? Do you like round eyes, almond eyes, really anime figures, more realistic, simplified shapes? Do you like curvy women or buff dudes? Just look for any common threads that you can see throughout the entire board. That's going to give you an idea of the traits that you gravitate towards, the traits that you like, and the things that you find attractive in artwork. The thing about your style is you should be drawing stuff that you like. You should be drawing the artwork that you want to see. So looking at the artwork that you love is a really great jumping off point for figuring out your style. Another thing that you can do is look through your own artwork. So start out by picking out all of the artwork that you love, that for some reason is super successful to you, that you really enjoyed making, that you're really happy with the result of. Any artwork that you really, truly, truly love. Spread them all out on a desk and start looking to see, do any of them have things in common? Do they all have light shading? Do they all have deer in them? Do they all have girls in them? What do they have in common? Is it a medium? Are they all watercolor? Are they all Copic marker? Are they all pastel? Start looking for the common thread between artwork that you love, and that's going to provide a really, really great jumping off point for you moving into the next step. Once you have an idea of some styles and aesthetics that you like, it's time to start practicing. So grab a sketchbook and draw the same thing in different styles over and over and over again. So for example, I'm drawing eyes in a bunch of different styles, and anime, realistic, semi-realistic, round, almondy, pointy, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And then I'm going through and I'm actually going to star the ones that I really like or I'm gravitating towards, and then I'm going to expand on those. Try drawing them in different positions, you know, 3/4, side, front, drawing them rounder, drawing them square. Just play around with it, push your angles, push the curves of your lines, push the shapes until you have explored as many options as you can, and then start refining it to the ones that you really, really love. You're not going to be able to just pick a style that you want and replicate it. You need to figure out how you draw, what feels natural to your hand and your eye, and you need to practice those individual elements. You can't just copy someone else's style. You have to develop your own based off of the things that you like. However, it is okay to do copies and studies of artwork that you love. It can help you understand the way that that person has used form, has used shape, or even color if you're doing a color study. But unless you're doing classical studies, I would shy away from sharing them on social media or sharing them publicly. Keep them to yourself. They're a learning tool. They're not for you to show off because you don't want to get into any copyright issues. Just copy them, learn them, study the artists that you love, but do it in your own sketchbook. You can share your artwork once it's your own original artwork. If you do share it online, then just make sure you credit the original artist and make sure it's very clear that it's a copy of their artwork. Nobody wants to get in trouble by their favorite artist for copyrights. That just sounds awful. Once you have all the elements of what you want and what you like and what feels naturally right to your hand and to your eye, it's time to combine them and start trying to draw your unique artwork in the style that you've developed. This is where it gets hard. But what you really need to do here is keep practicing. Draw figures in a bunch of different poses, really quick figures, but try to draw them in your style. I would recommend going out and getting an entire sketchbook and just labeling it My Style Sketchbook and do everything in this sketchbook. Develop your whole style in the sketchbook. This is going to take practice and time, but you should be filling up sketchbooks, and the more that you practice, the better you're going to get. The only way that you're going to develop a cohesive style is by continuously drawing in that style and continuously practicing and throwing things out that don't work and bringing in things that do work. So I hope that helps any of you who are struggling to develop your style. I know it can be really hard, especially when you're a young artist, but you got this. You can do this. You're gonna be great. Just keep making art and never stop making art. That is the most important thing. So if you did like this video and you'd like to subscribe to my channel, go ahead, it's down below, and hit that notification bell to be notified every single time I upload. I do upload new videos every single Friday. Come join the Wonderland fam, we would love to have you. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day. Bye guys! Chiaroscuro shading? Chiaroscuro share? Chiaroscuro share? Why do I finish the sentence there? So I'm bad today.